Welcome to HR and Business Leaders Worldwide. And this program is brought to you by Great Learnings and Beyond Management Consultancy, a company that is dedicated to help organizations succeed in terms of achieving its targets for the business as well as for its manpower or people through proven effective human resources, organization development, and learning and development interventions. If you want to find out more about our offerings, please do visit our website. It's www.greatlearningsandbeyond.com. You can also check us out in Facebook. That's GLB Management Consultancy. Partner?
And welcome to our episode this July. We'll have an exciting topic to discuss. And to introduce the host, she's the Managing Director, Chief Management and Organization Development Consultant of GLB Management Consultancy, a program partner, a lecturer at the UST Graduate School Center for Continuing Professional Education and Development, a certified management consultant, Dr. Giselle L. Barrion.
Thank you so much, partner. My partner is an HR and organization development leader, fellow in people management, and an SHRM OD lecturer at the UST Graduate School CCPED. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Major Ryan Barrion.
Good evening again, and welcome to our episode this July. Come, guys, and together let's learn.
Hi, good evening, Doc. Good evening, Doc Giselle. Good evening, Sir Ryan. It's great to be in your show, and I'd like to say hi to everyone who's listening to your program, who are members of this community. It's a great opportunity for me to be here and joining you today. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Sir Eric, thank you for heeding to our interview invitation. By the way, our topic for today, for those of you who are wondering, it's about professionalizing family businesses to thrive in the new normal. You know, when I first found out, partner, that this is the topic that Eric would like to talk about, I asked him, what is the reason why does he want to focus on family businesses as a consultant? Because, you know, Eric is hybrid. He's a marketing guy, but at the same time, he can also talk about organization development since we came from the same school, right? Which is PHIlLS Graduate School of OD. Now, we would like to hear it firsthand from Mr. Eric himself. Go ahead.
All right. So my background, firstly, when I was working, I was able to work for around 4 family businesses, and my role there with the management team allowed me to see the spectrum of how family businesses are currently being run. And as an executive, as a professional, initially there were those small concerns for executives when you're inside the family business. Somehow the DNA, the culture is basically based on how it was formed by the founder and how he's influencing his family members. But then again, as an employee, the mandate is that you protect the interests of the owners, but as well the interests of the employees. So I was able to navigate those roads and leading towards what I'm doing today. Okay, it's now my advocacy to help the Filipino family business owners to be able to professionalize them. When I say professionalize, it's not actually putting or aligning them to like the banks or what they say formal big corporations. It's actually putting systems in place, systems that they actually thought that they would need. For example, some family businesses don't really see the importance of having an HR department. So to that basic point, right? So there are companies who are existing for 30, even 50 years, and it's only now that they are appreciating the need, that they have grown their businesses, their empire this long. Second generation's already there, third generation is coming in, and they are now finding themselves in a situation where how do we actually manage our family members inside the business? How do our family members actually manage their roles towards their employees? So all of these things are the right opportunities for me to be able to share to the family business owners. No? That's why it's also good that around 20, 21 years ago, entrepreneurship courses were offered, and children of founders, tawag nga, in the community are COOs, like children of owners. Then they began learning. They began learning on how to manage it professionally. But then again, when they come back to their businesses, still they have to wait for the right opportunity for them to actually implement certain changes. Because you see, in family businesses, while your founder is there, or the second generation is there running it conventionally. When I say conventionally, it's the way used to, the way they're used to. Okay, so pretty much the younger generation is in the waiting line.
Oh, Eric, if I may ask, when did this passion, or when did you feel that calling that you should focus more on family business start?
But I left corporate in 2015, going 20, well, almost 2016. And when I needed to take care of my health for almost half a year and reboot my, Sir Ryan, I've been in and out of corporate 3 times in my entire career, 3 or 4 times in my entire career. So having that opportunity to look at both entrepreneurship and employment, and looking from my experience, okay, and what would be the most logical way for me to continue what I'm doing on my own. And I started with doing trainings for customer service. 20 plus years ago, I was doing retail. Okay, so for customer service for employees in the front lines. Okay, that's where I started. And I have a company called Retail Academy, actually established in 2009. But then again, while in the course of doing my training, one founder saw me and he said, I want you to train my 800 people, but I don't want to pay the way your rates are in your company, so I'd rather pay you. So he got me in. But then I went again and inside, no, but only to find myself out in 2015. And in the zone of family businesses, where I said, that's where my experience was in terms of managing. And I said, it has that fit, and that's also in my family, they're entrepreneurs as well, so I can actually relate to the owners and everyone running the business. So while I had my professional experience in family business, we ourselves, in the family, they are entrepreneurs. Okay? And that's the right fit that I saw moving to the zone of family businesses. And when I saw earlier that training is always the last endeavor to have the right budget. So if there's no budget, sometimes they postpone the training. So I told myself something has to be done. Something has to be done here. So I re-engineered my career towards organization development. So
Okay.
at least today, we're not being cut off. We're the ones saying when you should implement it.
Eric, in your experience, as you said, you saw that there was a need for family business to be helped. What were at least one or two of the most challenging, of course, without naming the names, what were the two most challenging concerns that you've experienced so far in family businesses, probably with one or two or even more of your clients? And how were you able to help them, say, turn around or perform better?
Well, number one, the transition from the previous generation to the next, right? So either it's first to second or second to third. Now, the younger generations are schooled in top tier colleges or universities, while their founders or previous generations would say, we graduated from the school of hard knocks, and this company actually brought you to school. So the older mindset is that, before you learn all of these principles and frameworks, our business is already established. So somehow it's gonna stay this way, right? So for senior generation, I don't want to call them older, the senior generation, it's actually the letting go part. And this is the generation who grew up working harder than ever, and that in their 60s, they still feel that they can still hack it like when they're 40s. Now that their children are mid-20s, and they have the right education and 1 or 2 or 3 years experience outside before going to the family business. They have that exposure in corporate world, and it's giving them that trust. Okay, it's giving them that empowerment, that guided empowerment. These are the common things. And while it's not only about the senior generation, some younger generation are too eager to prove themselves.
Okay.
And I've always reminded them that there's a right time to do this. Okay, there's a right time. You need to preserve the balance of family relationship inside the business. Okay, so that seesaw between the senior generation and the younger generation, okay, is one dynamics that I'm really taking care of inside, because there are sensibilities that we need to recognize. Okay, because for most of these family businesses, they're also close on the personal side. Okay, as a family, they're a close family. So somehow issues at work, they have some struggle on retaining them at the workplace, and they continue it in the dining table. They continue it on Sundays. So practically, their whole 7 days is just like business. And to consider, some of our friends who are used to having their businesses at the ground floor, and they live on the second, third, fourth, fifth floor, and the entire clan is there. Right? So all of these dynamics that you have to manage and be sensitive about. Okay. So all of these developments that are coming, new technologies, senior generations are trying to adapt to, but the younger generations are used to, and saying that, hey, we could do things faster if we can implement this. But if there's some lacking of recognition from the seniors that this can actually work, right? So these are the things, the basic concerns that family businesses have. And right now, I do have a partner who's actually taking care of the other side, which is family governance, which includes family council and family constitution. So
Wow.
that's the
We also have that.
guidelines
Somebody
for the
taking care of family council.
Yep.
It's
Yes. So
interesting.
the family council and the family
company
constitution.
which has a family constitution, a family council, that's apart from the board of directors. Meaning there's a board of director, but there's just a family council, and all members of the family
Yes.
is represented, so that they're really the owners.
Yes. So the concerns about family members are actually tackled in the council. But then again, it has to recognize as well that when a family member who is not a shareholder but is working in the business is actually considered as an employee.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
And when you actually have an employment contract, you are similarly covered by the COC or the Code of Conduct. And actually, that was just my discussion for our conversation right now, where I have to remind members of the family who are not yet shareholders that you are governed by this, and it has to be activated to you. And one thing is that for family businesses, some of them, they've never approached it professionally, just because, syempre, some members might have hard feelings, they might get hurt. Why am I being penalized? Why am I being cited? I'm a son of an owner, I'm a daughter of the owner, or I'm a cousin, I'm a pamangkin, or a niece or nephew, right? So when the word professionalizing encompasses a very large space when we're talking about FOCCs, or family-owned controlled corporations. Okay, and if you'll see, most of our large local companies have actually begun as a family business. And
Okay.
growing their enterprise, they have embraced best practices, and they have entertained getting professionals. And as you said, Sir Ryan, they've entertained creating boards.
Mhm.
So
Ah,
this
Eric, as you said,
profession.
sorry, as you said earlier, they have entertained. So that was actually my next question. When is it a time for a family business or a business to just say, "Hey, call the Ghostbuster because we need help already"? What are the tipping points or what are the telltale signs for a family corporation that they need people like you already?
Well, there are two pictures to this. One is a visionary founder who really knows where to bring the enterprise, and who also acknowledges the strengths and weaknesses of the family members,
Mhm.
right? And for most family businesses, they actually capacitate their younger generation by sending them to Ivy League schools,
Mhm.
having them mentored by so many professionals, and allowing them to immerse themselves in corporate for like 3 to 5 years, and let them come back to their company, family company, right? And one challenge is that they're supposed to be able to match what these family members are actually receiving in the corporate world. Now,
Mhm.
the other part, I said earlier, one founder who has a vision for his enterprise. The other one is a time bomb waiting to explode. When
Mhm.
there are too many issues involving, not only the family members, but actually not being able to, cope up with so many concerns of a growing company. Okay, so we're talking about manpower, we're talking about systems. Whether do we buy a system for inventory, or we still do that bin card, stock card? Do we buy a POS, or just use the Excel? Do we get an accounting manager, or your auntie is still good in numbers, so you do that? Do we actually hire an HR person, or it's just like, HR is just payroll to them? So you talk about compensation benefits, employee engagement, learning and development, strategic partnership. That's something that has to be introduced to some. I'm not saying all, but to some. That's because they're looking at specifically like HR differently. It's just payroll period or disciplinary period. And pagdating sa disciplinary, they're not even accustomed to what the due process steps are. That's why most family businesses, when they are uh, when they're inside, the dole scenario, some of them ending in paying so much just because they never actually implemented the right processes.
Mhm.
So these are the two pictures.
Mhm.
When and why people like us are invited to make those contributions for transformation. And sometimes, it's too late in the game, but they realize they need transformation. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm using the word transformation, not change, just because change may be temporary, and some family officers might just decide tomorrow, when your consultant's term is over, we just go back to how we used to do it. These new
Mhm.
things doesn't really work for us. So when I say transformation, personally for me, when I do my engagement, I really go what I call deep dive. When I say deep dive, 2 hours ago I was just engaging online sales personnel of the retail company of the owner. So that deep dive, because we do not want the stakeholders in their company just to be on the waiting end for the family officers to bring down new directions, new directives, and the people doesn't know why, and the people doesn't know how. So
Okay.
it has to be a balanced approach where we guide the management, and we also enlighten the ones in the workforce. So this is one approach that I've done for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's not quick, it's not short, it's quite lengthy. Some of my engagement runs 2 years, and in one company, I've been there for 4 years. If not for pandemic, I would have been 5 by July. Okay,
Wow.
so there are those types. But then again, I've seen family corporations that were able to achieve transformation.
Okay, actually, I have two questions. I have two
Mm.
more questions, but somehow you've answered one of my questions. It seemed to me that your exposure is more of management consulting. Is that correct? Meaning you look at the whole picture in a business. So when you encounter a client, the client discuss everything that's happening in the business, and your question does not only zoom into a particular area in the organization, but it's open-ended. And from there, whatever will be the question or whatever would be the concern of the client, you're gonna help them thrive through by means of forcing it to the right, let's say, to the right process or
Mm.
right system that can help them. So, mean to say, because in some cases of management consulting, you offer what is your specialization, but in this case, you offer what is really needed by the client. So it doesn't matter if it's, let's say, financial concern or IT concern. So I think in that part, you were able to answer it. I'm going to veer away a little from our main topic, but still somewhat related. Now, Eric, if in case, for example, you have other offers in the market, let's say, for example, aside from family businesses or doing consulting for family businesses, what's your take on that? Would Eric be open to it, like a consultant of another industry, let's say, another industry different from family business, or let's say you'll be doing a different thing like training, for example, for another organization?
Yep. Yes, I actually do. I just finished a 4-month program for one of the government agencies. Actually, tomorrow morning I'm doing training for BCDA. Next month I'm doing an MDP or BMP. Then next is MDP for one cooperative. Okay, so I've done their SDP, their supervisory development program. Then I'm doing next month their basic management, and thereafter by around August or September, the management development program. So I'm in a wider spectrum outside family businesses. So I'm into government, I'm into cooperatives, I'm into corporations. I do also coaching, one-on-one coaching, and now I'm into team coaching. One of my clients for coaching recently was for an HR manager of a multinational. I can't actually name the company. So it's a multinational company, uh, and having to engage the HR manager for around uh, 3.5 months
Mhm.
for 10 sessions of coaching. So these are the things that I do outside. Also, well, I would be remiss if I would not mention it. Uh, the advocacy of helping MSMEs. I'm into the space of Go Negosyo as a mentor for 4 years now. So I just did that this morning with my mentees from Region 11 or Davao region. So I am also very active in that advocacy to help the MSMEs. So pretty much, that's why I joke
Everywhere,
myself.
just like what you mentioned to
We're
me.
everywhere.
Pretty much you're
Yeah.
everywhere. If there's one focus, Eric, that you would like to do more of, what would it be? Because you said that you're hybrid, you're everywhere. If you're going to look at the focus, what would it be for Eric for 2022 moving forward?
Oh, well, I'll stay with the family businesses.
Mhm.
Mm.
I'll stay with the family businesses. Although, I agree with you in terms of the word focus or prioritizing. But then again, you really can't help it if there are some, areas outside family businesses who's inviting and, allowing you to do certain interventions for them. But pretty much as of today, people may look at my Facebook page and there are a lot of things happening there. But what you actually don't see are the real things that I do underneath, which is the family businesses. Just because I have an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement with all my clients. So all of
No
those things that
worries.
I've been
I
doing.
understand that because I'm also into that.
Yes,
I
yes,
have NDAs with them. That's why you don't see everything posted on Facebook, right?
correct, correct.
Except for the training programs. That's all for the, the surface level of what we do. So,
Yes,
Eric, I know that you are also into marketing, right? You are, in fact, the board of director of Philippine Marketing Association, and you also have an HR background. What would be your word of advice for students or for young professionals who are thriving in their career, who are not yet somehow they haven't concretized yet what they want to happen in their life,
Mhm.
and probably they are either dallying or they wanted to try out a lot of things. What would be your advice to them? Go ahead.
well, number one, for those who are at work in corporate or those who are employees, I would like you to disbelieve the words in Tagalog na walang yayaman pag naging empleyado ka. Okay? I totally 100% disagree in that. I have evidences, especially in my family, that they've made it successfully in employment just because I have the opportunity to see both worlds, right? And for those who are new in the corporate world, establish yourself, get competencies, get your skills, develop your skills, allow yourself to be immersed in all of the concerns in your work department, and learn other skills. You know, these are the things that will allow you to move up the ladder. Okay, look at that high road, something that may be far from you now, but then again, it's doable, it's reachable, and there are a lot of things that are you know disturbing, preoccupying our younger generation's mind today. A lot of things like the internet, digital. But then again, I would suggest that you can actually do your own professional development, self-development. There are a
Right.
lot of contents online, and they're free. And the only investment that you need to do is make time for it. Okay, so you just have to balance your time from doing your video games or your Netflix or your all of the things that's been preoccupying you, right? And get those online learnings and allow it to be executed at the workplace. Okay, and excel. Okay, excel at your work. Compete with yourself, not with your coworkers. Okay, when you get into the time that you'll say, I was different 5 years ago, I was different from last year. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I see myself in a different role today. And I can actually say this for someone I know who at 29 today is getting hired to become uh, a business unit head. And his salary is something that most of my friends have accumulated for 20 years, and he just did it in 9 years. And he's
Wow.
below 30 years old. So that's a proof and that's an evidence when I tell you that you can actually succeed in being an employee. Nevertheless, also when you go to entrepreneurship, and I promote entrepreneurship as well, we see young rock stars today, young founders, uh, be it in tech or non-tech, succeeding. Okay, and of course, there are people ahead of them who have traversed the roads of hard work, diligence, 24/7 working. You see,
Mhm.
when we get to segregate the entrepreneurs from the corporate people, the entrepreneurs are the people who don't like an 8 to 5 job but loves working 24/7, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much different. But then again, both worlds meet towards a certain point, especially for people at the workplace who will graduate earlier or by age when they would want to go towards entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
and their skills from their corporate work are highly valuable and usable in the entrepreneurship space. So for those who are listening to us today, you're at work, be good at it, okay, and your skills will allow windows of opportunity to open for you.
Okay.
Wow, thank you for those words of
Working
wisdom.
big
I'm sure that a lot of them have learned something, and I mean a lot, not just something, from Eric tonight. Eric, how can they reach you for those who are interested to get you as a speaker or consultant?
Yes.
Well, I have my Facebook is always open. You can send me a message on FB. It's Eric Pike, ERICPIKE, then Caeg, CAEG. And yeah, I'm not too much in digital assets, so it's just my FB and my phone. You can just send me a message on Messenger, then I'll reply to you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you very much, Dr. Giselle and Sir Ryan. And it's a great conversation that I have with you. And I wish your program well. And all your listeners, stay put. They have a lot more in store for you.
It's
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Eric.
to have you.
Yes.
Thank you. We
Bye-bye.
hope to invite you again.
Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.